Welcome to my home. My name is Lisa, and this is Mysterious Mystical Moments. And today is Thursday. Now, I want to do another couple places for Arizona. Now, I'm going to head down south, and I am going to go to Florence. Now, the reason why I'm going to Florence is because my son has his best friend that lives there, and I'm interested in that place. So, um, the first person I'm going to talk about is, of course, Charles Debrill Poston. Now, he was the father of Arizona. He is the one who made it a state. Now, he was also the first delegate to the U.S. House of Representatives for Arizona. And he met up with Abraham Lincoln, and he said, I want to start a colony out in the West. And of course, Lincoln was like, that sounds great, let's move out, let's do this, let's do that. And so, Poston made Arizona a state. The reason why I'm talking about him is because on June the 24th, 1902 in Phoenix, he died of a heart failure. Now, he was buried in a pauper's grave. Now, a pauper's grave is for the poor, and it's usually built, are buried in a field, instead of a cemetery. Anyway, the state was like, no, he's the father of our state. He was the first man to represent Arizona in the Senate. So, this is not good. So he always wanted to be buried in Florence, Arizona, which is south of Phoenix. And so they dug him up on his 100th year anniversary of his death, and they moved him to Florence, where, like I said, he wanted to be buried on Primrose Hill. Well, they changed the name to Poston Butte in Florence, Arizona. Now, there's a huge monument there, and you can go and you can pay your respects to Mr. Poston, and you may see his ghost wandering around, because you're not supposed to disturb graves, supposedly. Of course, you're not just supposed to disturb their resting place, as people say. And it's consecrated ground where they were blessed and everything, I'm sure they did it all over again when they buried him in Florence, where he wanted to be, but you may see his ghost either in Phoenix, Arizona, around his old pauper's grave, or you could see him maybe in his new beautiful monument and admiring it and saying, yes, I am the father of Arizona. Now, the second place I want to talk to you about is Arizona State Prison. Now, Arizona State Prison is in Florence, Arizona, and it's this huge prison. And the reason why I'm talking about it, of course, most prisons have a checkered past. Horrible, horrific things happen there. But this one was where they actually executed, by hanging. They executed their death row inmates by hanging. And what they did is they would have rooms, special rooms, jail cells, that had trapdoor type situation where they just came in, put the noose around their neck, opened the trapdoor, and they hung, instead of just a separate room. Now, of course, that would make it completely haunted, because that one death row, as they call it, area would be completely haunted, because each room had a trap door where they just went in and hung them and opened the trap door, and down they went. Now, it's strange, but there was a woman that was convicted of murder, and she was hung on February 20th, 1930. And she was hung, and she was actually the last person to be hung in that prison, because She was hung and her head popped off. Just like, just, like you were popping off the head of a dandelion. Um, I'm sorry if that sounds bad. I'm just trying to give you a visual of it. But that's when the state finally said, no more hangings, let's do the gas chamber instead. And they took him to the gas chamber. Now, I don't think that they still use gas chamber now because that's inhumane by somehow. But I think that most states who do have the death penalty, they do lethal injections that instantly kill them. But this woman, Eva Dugan, she was convicted of murdering her husband. Now, Eva worked for an elderly chicken rancher, as a housekeeper. Now, of course, she was a gold digger, completely a gold digger. Now, she worked for Andrew Mathis, a wealthy chicken farmer, and supposedly Mathis broke it off and said, I'm done, I can't do this anymore, because she was very abusive, very physical and mental abusive. And he said, get your shit and get out. Excuse my language. But yeah, she was more like, hit the road, Jack, don't you come back. Well, supposedly Mathis broke it off and he told her to get her shit and leave. Well, suddenly on the morning of January 27, 1927, Mathis disappeared. Now, some of his possessions, his car, and his cash box was missing too. And of course, she made it out to be that he had taken the money and left himself instead of making her leave and leaving everything to her. Well, neighbors said that Dugan tried to sell Andrew's belongings before he disappeared. Well, they knew that she did it. Now, Dugan was married 5 times before, and all of her husbands disappeared. Now, that's really, really strange. She said she had it in. They finally caught up with her in Kansas, Missouri, and she sold the car, which was, she reported it missing and stolen and all this. But she was sold the car for $600. For $600, that's how they caught her. If you're covering your tracks and you've already had 5 marriages that kind of, they disappeared, just like this last husband, you think that they would have caught up with her a long time ago, but they didn't until Mathis. Now, police caught her and caught up with her to when she received a letter from her father. Now, they really didn't catch up with her when she sold the car. Her father had sent her a letter to Missouri, and that's how they got it, through the mail system. A forwarding address. They were following her all the way from Mathis's house to Missouri. Now, she was convicted, of course, and sent to the state prison in Arizona because she was extradited back to, I think that's the right word. She was taken back to Arizona and she was tried for the murder of Andrew Mathis. And of course, they found his body, months later in a wooded area near his home. But she was the last person to get hung because of the fact that her head popped off, so they switched to gas. Now, another one was Gary Tison. Now, Tison was in prison for writing a bad check the first time. Now, he was like an escape artist. I mean, he escaped from there all the time. And he had like a gang, him and his sons. First time he escaped, Tison grabbed the guard gun on the way back to jail from the courthouse from getting this ticket for writing a bad check, and killing him, and then just throwing him out of the prison truck, and took off with the prison truck. And he just threw the prison guard out the back door on a dirt road, a dead-end dirt road. And of course they found him, and the manhunt found him the next day in someone else's backyard. Now, Casa Grande is where this all happened, and Tison capturing or arrested him on murder for passing bad checks to murder. And in 1968, sentenced to life, Tison's gang began in, they made 3 attempts to escape. And in 1978, left escape prison with a fellow murderer, and then they ended up with the aid of Tison's 3 sons. Now, the 3 sons and Tison and this murderer ended up going on a murdering rampage throughout Arizona. And they killed children, they killed families, whole entire families and everything else. And there was, I guess, a 1983 movie called Killer in the Family was made that you can watch today. Now, this is a true story. Now, I would have done it on Weird But True Wednesday, but, of course, I'm trying to finish up on my Arizona for Fair Friday. This is kind of strange, and there's a lot of gunslingers, of course, out in the thing, but I'm sure that, you know, through the whole United States and throughout the entire world, there was always gunslinger stories. But this was just disgusting, how they kept on escaping from this jail, and he finally ended up and been executed, all of them. So this ends Thursday. This ends this video. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. If you like to go to these places, there are several topics throughout the whole entire internet and YouTube. I'm doing these states because I want to give you some kind of heads up on places that you may be going to, and give you an opportunity, since it is Halloween next month, to enjoy a little bit of ghost hunting yourself. Please like and subscribe, share some kindness, and shine your beacon of light for those in the dark. Peace.